Sound and audio have profound impacts on various aspects of our lives. It's pretty much unavoidable. In entertainment, they enhance the immersive experience in movies and video games, giving life to all kinds of visuals. In education, audio is the most important factor in learning, even when placed with any kind of visual explanation. It withstands. Moreover, our main form of communication is verbal through so many different languages, but it doesn't stop there. Non-verbal communications such as whistling can be used to provide signals without the use of words. In industries, audio contributes to alarm systems, navigation, and machinery, playing a great role in society. However, excessive or unpleasant noise, something that is very common in nearly all urban areas, can lead to stress and health issues. Overall, the impact of sound and audio is pervasive, shaping our perceptions and interactions in diverse contexts. In a later episode, we cover auditory topics such as alarms and signals and how they're used, and what makes them so important not only in our society, but also how it can play great roles in any content such as movies or video games alike. I'm Maisie, one of your 3 hosts. Welcome to the show. In this episode, we'll be going over some fundamentals and giving you a taste of what is yet to be heard. We'll run down several topics briefly to summarize the first portion of the podcast. Now, first let's break down the main ways sound can affect us. Sound can be applied physiologically and psychologically. On the psychological side, one of the most common effects sound has on us is a change in heart rate. Have you ever listened to a fast-paced song and noticed your heart beating faster? Or felt your heart rate steady while listening to calming music? Maybe you've experienced nature making these changes, maybe ocean waves or tree leaves in the spring. The tempo of the music we listen to, or the sounds we hear, can manipulate cognitive speed and change heart rate. With a change in heart rate and cognitive speed, you may notice your walking speed change depending on the tempo, intensity, or overall audible speed of the music you listen to. You may find that you work faster under high-intensity music, and you tend to get things done as quickly as possible. You find solutions to problems faster. Or maybe you're more interested in listening to something slow or chill that could help you come up with ideas that are more thoughtful when writing an essay. If you are doing something that requires a lot of thought, you may want to consider listening to something that you aren't totally familiar with. That way it won't distract you. With unknown lyrics, you can do nothing but listen. Even better, you can listen to music that contains little to no lyrics whatsoever, to completely negate the chances of ever getting distracted by the music you're listening to. Music influences the speed in which we work and problem solve, and it can influence the ideas we come up with. Music inspires our thoughts. Maybe this will give you more insight when choosing the music you work out or study to. The psychology of sound and audio delves into the intricate ways in which auditory stimuli impacts human emotions, behavior, and cognition. Sound can evoke powerful emotional responses, triggering memories and influencing mood. This field of study is called psychoacoustics. Psychoacoustics studies how the brain interprets and processes sound, examining factors such as pitch, volume, and timbre.
Additionally, sound plays a crucial role in attention and perception. Certain sounds can capture our attention and affect our focus. While background noise may inhibit our ability to concentrate, in one of our later episodes, we go over how environmental sounds may affect work environments, and we do this through an interview with a previous acoustics consultant and an audio engineer. We'll keep you posted. In the realm of marketing and media, the psychology of audio is employed to create a memorable and emotionally resonant experiences, shaping consumer perceptions. A good example of this would be any kind of company, jingle, or tagline. McDonald's famous or. These are used as a marketing tactic to not only make commercials more enjoyable and unique, but also to hold a placeholder that is subconsciously memorable to any viewer. Viewers and even listeners will remember this catchy little melodic sample of the company, and the company profits from it. Moreover, on another small topic, the brain's response to music involves complex cognitive and emotional processes. Different genres and elements of music can induce various emotional states, like how classical music is correlated with tranquility and relaxation, along with lo-fi and some indie bands or R&B music. Meanwhile, rap, hip-hop, and such can make you feel energized or focused, put you in a good mood. Of course, this depends on the person, but overall these changes in emotion for these genres are pretty objective. The psychological effects of music are often harnessed in therapeutic settings to enhance mood or alleviate stress. In summary, the psychology of sound and audio explores how auditory experiences influence our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, offering insight to the intricate relationship between the mind and the soundscapes. Though we won't cover it in this episode, we will later rediscover a little history on sound and music to reinforce some claims such as generation gaps and how musical taste falls into that, how earlier stages in music has been incorporated in modern day compositions, and some background information of how music came to be to begin with.
With all of today's modern tech and with everything we have at our disposal to produce music digitally, it's no surprise that with today's newer set of AI-generated music, people would be exploiting it. Even now, the music that you're listening to is AI-generated. With this in mind, you could probably imagine how handy this would be for anybody on a budget, specifically indie game devs and other solo producers that are looking for something easy and affordable to enhance their very own creative experiences and projects. The most obvious example of this AI tech is through BandLab. BandLab is a music production program with a decent amount of tools at your disposal. Songs and samples are constantly published through its community page and shared to be remixed into other creator projects. In terms of its AI, BandLab uses its own software to create new, unique beats to fit the genre of your choice, even giving you options to choose from after one go. Of course, this tool isn't perfect, as you can see in many instances, and it's very generalized. There isn't much personalization that can be done with the production of these beats, but it's good enough to be utilized as background music in games and such if the significance and recognizability of the track is not really on your radar. In this sense, you can expect quite a few of these in the background of this podcast. As a little bit of a showcase, consider it an interesting fact.
Have you ever wondered why you hear high-frequency ringing noises? The intended reason is to get animals off property. These features are easily found in neighborhoods, with this installment designated to certain houses. Most people can hear sounds in the range of 20 to 20,000 Hz. Some younger people may hear more than 20,000 Hz, which is why you hear the ringing. As you get older though, the ability to hear these high-pitched ringing noises starts to go away. You become more and more tone deaf as you lose consistent hearing to anything out of your range. Animals, on the other hand, are built with better hearing, causing them to hear the frequency constantly throughout the duration of their life. This is why this technology works. One of the main issues with sound is noise pollution. Let's run down an example. Whales communicate with sound across the ocean. Ships with large engines obstruct communication between animals and creatures like these, damaging the ecosystem. This shows how sound can also be detrimental towards oceans. Moving on, does mood affect how sound is perceived? Yes, of course. We see this in all kinds of ways. Let's use loud noises as an example. If a person is in a bad mood, loud sounds can irritate them easily. Meanwhile, others who are not in any particularly bad mood may brush off these annoying noises around them. These aggravated individuals may lash out or raise their voices at anything that defies them, even if it's something completely innocent like the sound of a few kids playing, not necessarily out of aggression or with malintent. Let's imagine a scenario where we have two people. One is having a bad day while the other is blasting music. Normally the first person would be rational and fine, but because of the combination of loud music and bad mood, they'll be irrational and upset. While we're on a pretty similar topic, there are a few sounds hated by nearly everyone. Let's take a look at some of these and let's look at why. The range of sounds hated by pretty much everyone is decently extensive, including sounds like nails scratching on a chalkboard or a fork on plates, squealing brakes of a bike, along with other loud and purely irritating noises. Now, Although it's true, a sound can be annoying on its own. However, sometimes if the sound is simply obstructing your train of thought, it can come off as annoying. Some examples would be people laughing when you're trying to focus on something else, a baby crying, really, just any sort of loud sound in the background. Same thing goes for fainter noises like the infamous chewing noises that so many people can just not live with, or sniffling constantly for seemingly no reason. Currently in psychoacoustics, nobody has a conclusive answer. However, we do have a few theories. Perhaps one of the main reasons most of the more obviously annoying noises come off as audibly irritating is due to the high pitch. This makes a great comparison with the ringing devices to keep animals off properties. Devices that contain persistent high-frequency ringing noises, we hear these high-pitched annoying noises and it sets us off kind of like these devices, making it within reason to believe that the cause for audible annoyance is associated with pitch. Now, although this does cover all the more mentioned sounds, like a scraping over a sharp object on something else or the screeching of an old bike's brakes, it doesn't include any reason for maybe the chewing or sniffling. We have reason to believe that another main factor to annoyance in these sounds are the implications and knowledge of the actions we compare it to. When we hear fingernails scraping on a chalkboard, we not only hear the ear-piercing sound, but we are also placed with the idea of actually scraping our fingernails on a chalkboard, and the pain and discomfort it comes with, which may actually explain the sudden uneasiness or even gagging that comes with listening to sounds like this. Same thing applies with chewing. Though not everyone feels this way, the people who do will listen to the chewing and just think of texture of the food being chewed that the sound presents to us. Put simply, the sound plays an image in our minds that represents either the simply unpleasant noise or the unpleasant visual naturally implied, which subjective to the person may make them uneasy, grossed out, or annoyed. Anyhow, I used to be fine with the commonly hated styrofoam scraping, but now I can't stand it. It really makes you wonder how taste in sound can change over time. By taste in sound, we mean the auditory preferences we experience in our lives. Like how someone can adapt to be unbothered by chewing noises, making the concept of ASMR eating videos appealing. External factors such as hunger can also affect whether we actually enjoy listening to ASMR eating content, or if it's just kinda gross. Hearing a sound over and over and over can make it come off as annoying after a while. You move into a new apartment, and there's a neighbor with a dog that will not stop barking. At first you brush it off, but after a while you just cannot stand listening to it and file a complaint. Maybe the opposite is applicable, where the sound of construction out your window is annoying, but after a while you come to get used to it. Same goes for garbage trucks early in the morning, alarm clocks with a seemingly nice and calming ringtone, and how they can become so infuriating to wake up to, because of the trauma you may now obtain from losing precious sleep with this specific ringtone, or how a song becomes old and sometimes even annoying after listening to it too many times, even if it's good. Have you ever wondered how music tastes change in people? We asked people around our age what kind of music they listen to get a better idea of how their music tastes have changed over time. Take a listen.
We're here with
Jeffrey.
What would you say is your music taste right now?
I'd say it's more of like an alternative hip-hop / rap.
Like if you'd give an example.
Like of an artist, I'd say like West Side Gun or Holy James.
Yeah. What would you say like your music taste was before your like big change into this kind of music?
I'd say would be mostly all the mainstream stuff, so like Travis Scott,
music,
like all that stuff.
Wiggles, club boppers,
all that mainstream stuff that you'll hear, like that you'll see all on Instagram and stuff like
TikTok,
that, like Drake, all that stuff.
Oh, we're here with
Gabriel.
What would you say your music taste is right now? What kind of genre do you listen to?
Probably like new metal type stuff.
What would you say you like used to listen to before?
I used to listen to like more heavy stuff, and I went to like slightly lighter stuff.
Has your music taste changed over time?
Yes, it has.
Yeah, what was it before it changed?
Maybe like weird songs that I don't currently listen to.
What do you listen to now?
I like rap now. Before I didn't really like rap.
Has your music taste changed over time?
Yes.
Yeah? What is it now?
R&B.
So your music taste is R&B. What's your music taste right now?
R&B and rap.
Who are we here with today?
Caesar? Would you say your music taste has changed over time?
Yes, definitely.
What would you say like influenced this change?
Probably, I would say like modern culture or like the people I hang around with.
See the internet, TikTok, and stuff
Internet,
like that?
TikTok, yeah, that stuff
that-
too.
that
Definitely,
makes
yeah,
sense.
definitely TikTok, yeah.
What would you say like you used to listen to like pre-change, like before all of this happened?
I would say I listened to just like whatever was on the radio, I'd say. But now I have like preferences, like I listen more to like Drake and stuff like that.
Would you say your sound, like your music taste has changed like over time?
Hell no.
Alright, what about you?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit? Alright. What kind of music genre do you listen to then?
Rap and hip hop.
People's music tastes change because they are always looking for something new or unique to listen to. This is also the cause of the phenomenon of people listening to older known music, because it contains some of the best and most unique songs in that time.
Hey, Maisie again. Coming in to elaborate on what Maltz had to say. Older music may come off as new to younger listeners, like how the Beatles, Pink Floyd, or Led Zeppelin regained some popularity in younger audiences, triggering a sort of nostalgia that never actually existed for these people. Maybe it was the music their parents listened to in the car, and the kids listening to this music later as they go into their teens and develop their own taste. It's just them being influenced by what they listened to when they were only 4 or 5. Of course, it's not to be implied that the music is purely being listened to because of nostalgia. This music is just good. Though these kids may have a sense of nostalgia or longing or sentimental attachment to this type of music because of what their parents just happened to be playing in the car when they were younger. And the kids, as they grow up, listen to the same music without even having a second thought about it. Are some genres of music better than others? Why? Present time, the most listened to genres include pop, of course, rock, and hip-hop. No surprises there. But why? What are these ratings based off? Are they based off of the songs that are played on the radio and all of the 20 or 30-year-olds that listen and vote on that? Are they based on music listened to on Spotify or Apple Music? Is this info even accurate? Typically, pop definitely withstands, and throughout the 2000s has been a pretty common trending competitor in popular music. This category contains all the big known names such as Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, and Timberlake. The list goes on. These are American-based, of course. It's safe to say that pop is a safe, popular genre on the tier list. However, a couple genres I was surprised I didn't see was rap or R&B. It's not hard to figure out that this is in the more significant bunch, but should they have sat higher? This makes me seem to believe that the stats reported back to make these claims are brought from popular radio industries and not Spotify and such. Rap and R&B are mostly listened to by teens and some early adults, mostly, which by no surprise is the age group with the highest user count on Spotify, coming at around 50% of its overall users. This begs the question of whether these stats are accurate to all platforms.
Now, let's ask the question of what sounds capture attention. The brain processes all sound, however, it ignores repetitive sounds. This allows the brain to pick up on unexpected signals, like a human shout, which is not regular. We also see this with cars and honking and everyone looking up from whatever they were doing to inspect the sudden change in noise and atmosphere. Another example would be on websites. We have expectations that most websites won't play sound unless you click on a video. Because of this, when websites do play sound, it's very off-putting. In summary of that, most noises that actually surprise anybody is a sound that you wouldn't hear normally. If you get used to hearing certain sounds constantly, even if it's sudden, you may find yourself unaffected by the surprise. Though this is entirely independent to the individual and the situation, and you will of course still feel a little surprised at practically anything that happens or plays out of the blue. Sound recognizability will at least take away a bit of the fear factor for uncertain sounds. From an industrial view, with buildings and office spaces, to medicine, via stethoscopes, to the basis of language which allows us to communicate, it even affects the environment for humans and animals alike.
We want to thank you for choosing to spend your time with us, and we cannot wait to dive further into detail on all the topics we've summed up today. You can look forward to hearing more about video games and sound design throughout the digital world in our next episode. This podcast is brought to you by your 3 hosts, Maisie, Kai, and Maltz. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to DM us on our Instagram at Podcast Audiverse, and we'll see you on the flip side.